Alrighty. So welcome back to Shenanigoons, everyone. How are you all?
Da 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 da, Shenanigoons, da 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 da.
Doing okay.
Super.
Doing good.
Good.
Sorry, I was making a funny face because I found that there was a chip in one of my dice, and then that made me sad.
Yes, imperfections in the dice hoard would be a problem.
Means Tessa needs to cull the week.
Took a little Peppacoa there.
It's our eternal sponsor.
This week's Shenanigans is sponsored by Peppacoa.
Yeah, can we get sponsored? Because we use them a lot.
The magical drink that tastes like crap, but it works fucking amazing.
Their new slogan is now exactly what Logan just said.
I like it.
See? That's what you get from Push to Talk.
It was worth it.
I mean, it's no worse than any other cough syrup. I mean, it's actually more pleasant. It's just thick. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I've mixed spoonfuls of it into, like, chai tea, and then drink the tea, and...
Oh, because you want to make it worse? Is that...
If you like chai, this works okay. If you don't like chai,
I see.
then go F yourself in a corner.
Hey, Mike. If it's good enough for Picard, it's good enough for me.
She didn't say Earl Grey.
Mike, you don't like Earl Grey?
That's the one thing he got wrong.
Only one? That's the only one thing he got wrong? Pretty sure he broke the Prime Directive a few times, but all right.
But I was okay with it.
He will always be my captain. Oh, captain, my captain.
Yeah, he's my first choice. My namesake isn't even my second or third choice.
I'm not throwing my name in this ring.
Wait.
I'm not going to expose myself to ridicule.
It's Janeway, isn't it?
It's Janeway, because Janeway's amazing.
Cisco Janeway.
Cisco Janeway. See, that's reasonable.
I find those acceptable.
Although Cisco, so here's the argument I get into. Yay, I love this.
Not technically a captain, I understand.
Right, but he did become a captain. He became a captain for a short time.
He was the senior officer on a Star Trek show. That counts as captain in my book for pop culture discussion.
But a lot of people made me decide only while he was in charge of a ship. That period of time, actually, he wasn't very good. So, but no, Cisco is very high up my list. It goes Picard, Cisco, Janeway. They flip flop depending on which part of which season I'm in.
Well, yeah, which season, which alien race are they either destroying or picking a war with?
Exactly, and then Kirk is actually way down on my list. Although I do love him, they're all
Yeah.
I mean,
he's still above. I don't even remember his name. That's how bad the show was. Scott Bakula's captain.
Archer.
That one.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, he's at the bottom.
And nobody remembers Worf.
I don't know who that.
He was the captain of the Defiant.
Yeah.
He wasn't in charge of a show though.
Fair. Not the senior officer star of the show.
Yeah.
There was always some... Anyway, this is way off genre.
And you could move this over to Geek Thyself and do a whole episode on Star Trek captains. There you go.
Ooh.
I have a book, Heather. I have a book.
That's Heather's favorite phrase.
I have a
Something I
book.
say to her, I have a book.
Ashport, a city on the brink. The winds of the restless sea are thick with the soot and grime of progress. The continent of Valdara is a land of adventure and magic, and while it is dragged through the smoke and into the light of a modern age, the Birchfield Institute and its operatives, the Proctors, lead the charge.
Being one of the few folks who can see in the dark definitely has its advantages. I mean, this poor Birchfield cleric obviously didn't have much luck, but the scrolls of dark vision have definitely come in handy for our group. It's nice to not have to guide them as much. With the help of Adelaide's book and a bit of magic, I was able to turn myself into Reed, the lost dark elf, drow girl looking for home, and negotiated passage through the labyrinth for the party. I am sad about the loss of those extra scrolls to the Goth, but at least we made it past him. I was a little worried that Merrick had tipped our hand when he was sneaking up behind him, but I think I was able to smooth things over. Now I've just got to see if I can keep up the deception and the verbal gymnastics to get us out of a potential fight. I really hate putting my friends in this mess. Merrick is really more suited for fast talking, but I'm not completely unfamiliar with trying to be somebody I'm not. I mean, all in a day's work for a pirate princess, right?
So you are standing at the edge of the labyrinth that you were taken through that didn't really have a lot on your map. It was kind of just kind of glossed over there. And you're wondering if maybe there was some sort of dramatic shift in the topography since the last time these were created. Now there's all this sort of this labyrinth you've just finished coming through with Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the two drow scouts that greeted you at the entrance. As you left the Wailing Cairns, and now you stare at the city of Jolimir, which on your map is Death's Cavern.
I'm so glad that it's so classy that they have literary names. Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
So they've just turned on the party, having done what they agreed to do and help Bonnie, or as she has been known here,
Reed.
Right, you used your last name, which is very smart. As they helped Reed fulfill her obligation by seeing everyone through to the quote-unquote Canyon of Death. Or Death Canyon? Is it Death's Canyon or Canyon of Death?
Death's Cavern.
Death's Cavern.
That's why we were having the Canyon Cavern issue before.
Death's...
Cave, cairn, cavern, canyon.
Why do all these subterranean topography things have to start with a C? Just pick another letter.
Right?
Similar root words, maybe?
Probably. Fine, be all technically probably correct.
Yeah, seriously. What the
Fair. It's fair.
Sorry.
Logic has no place here. This is D&D.
So Reed is going to say, I've heard it's good manners to always bring a gift when you come to somewhere new. Maybe they could be useful? Please don't kill my friends. Which she does not say out loud.
Tweedledee turns to you, the one you'd been speaking to earlier. He kind of cocks his head. Are these your slaves?
I guess you could call them that, yes. I mean, they have been assisting me this entire time.
And they kind of look at each other and they look back. We didn't think that any overlanders would have such type of customs. We were led to believe they didn't believe in such things.
It depends on the location of where you're from. There are people above who do take servants and slaves.
But you armed them so heavily.
The dangers were not small for one person alone coming down from the overland. And they have served me incredibly well. It seems a shame to dispose of such talent, don't you think?
And we're very loyal. Tell them we're very loyal.
She says in common. I don't know if they haven't spoken common the whole time we've been here, right?
Merrick turns to Adelaide. What do they say?
They're speaking Elvish, remember, so some people do.
Arthur can understand and if they're speaking Elvish, so I would have been listening to this. Okay.
So, make me a persuasion check.
Roll high, please.
17?
Tweedledum drops his bow immediately, and Tweedledee just kind of looks at you hesitantly for a moment. All right. Roll me an insight check. Everybody can roll me an insight check.
Ooh, 20. Not natural.
7.
10.
12.
5. It's almost as if I'm attacking something.
Everybody else, as he says, that's fine. And he starts to lower his bow. Bonnie, everyone else, thinks that whew, okay, dodged a bullet. Bonnie, however, thinks that he saw through what you were saying. And he is playing along for now. You've got this idea that maybe something else is wrong. That maybe he doesn't quite believe you. But he's not going to question you right now. So he may just be biding his time. But you've got that edge over him now.
Because we all know that Bonnie cast tongues on herself, or comprehend languages, whatever it is now, so that she can understand what they're saying, right?
Yeah, she had told you that she was going to do those.
Okay, so in Orcish, because I know she can speak it, Val's just gonna ask her, Bonnie, are we all right? What's going on?
She'll reply in common and basically say, and in very calm, very much like, this is, I am in charge, don't worry, everything's fine kind of voice. Like, look alive. I think we're okay for now, but I'm not entirely sure how much they believe me. I've tried to convince them that you are my servants and are useful and therefore should not be put to death. Just, if I look like I'm giving you an order, it's probably going to be me telling you something important in common. I'm asking you to trust me right now. Is that understood? Kind of trying to be a little bit more, not necessarily regal, but more commanding with her presence. Like, seriously, I'm doing my best, guys. Please, please, please. But it's at the same time trying to give this appearance like I'm explaining what, almost giving an order kind of thing.
Yeah, Val just kind of nods her head and looks over at the two other guys, but nods her head at Bonnie, like, okay, yes, got it.
Adelaide bows her head, sort of like I understand, and then in Gnomish mutters under her breath, fucking hell.
And let's hope that they don't understand common.
And then she'll just kind of look over and sharply say, sorry. So it looked almost like a reprimand, but was also actually an apology. If that makes sense, hopefully.
Sorry.
I'm very apologetic for how this is working out right now. Will you forgive me?
Exactly. I'm sorry.
So as Tweedledee kind of nods to you a little bit, he I don't have any. We didn't make other names, or if we did, I forgot them. They're not in my notes. So.
It's like, Bonnie, during your insight check, you almost feel like maybe they'd appreciate having their names asked of them. Maybe that would build some better rapport.
That actually is a good idea. I swear they gave us their names, but I don't remember. I'm so sorry if they did.
I didn't write it. I made. They're not in my notes. So.
But for the sake of Tessa, can you give me the names you came up with?
Yeah, Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh my god!
God damn it!
Are you serious?
What do you want from me?
Tool and Tweel.
Tweel and Tweel. I like that.
Okay, now I don't want to edit anything. I just want this whole fucking catastrophe left in.
No, it's perfect. Just leave it all the way it is. So this is how D&D works sometimes. People don't write stuff down, and
sometimes
I rely on them to make notes of shit I make up on the fly, and I forget to write it down myself, and this is just how it works.
There's yes and yes,
Hashtag world building.
Tweel, is there somewhere that I should make introductions, or is there an inn I should stay at first? I'm not entirely sure of the protocol when entering the city, and I want to make sure that I make a good impression.
We don't. An inn sounds like a gnomish or sort of a construct. Isn't that where people stay when they visit a place?
Yes. Well, I don't have a actual house to live in as of yet.
Well, nobody comes here without being invited usually, so at least not who then stays in any kind of respectable place. So we will have to introduce you around and see if somebody wishes to give you boarding.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And they take you down the road into this fairly small but tall. There's lots of different layers to it. Drow City, a lot of Gothic architecture because, I like being stereotypical. It's just beautifully carved out of the rocks, and there's also other types of constructions here with these made out of these mushrooms and the other trees and things, these underground kind of viney trees that exist. And overall, it is very elegant. Every building is a work of art. There are several other drow walking around the city. Some of them have other races and slaves in tow.
Are the other races being shackled, or are they walking freely behind?
No one's shackled. It looks like they are probably emotionally shackled.
Oh.
They look broken.
Adelaide, as they're walking, is having a lot of trouble kind of deciding between keeping her head down so that she's got more of a indentured servant look to her, and also gawking at the drow that are everywhere.
So as you guys are kind of going along, you notice that there's not a lot of the same types of day-to-day activity. As you walk through the major areas of the city, there's no marketplace. There's no open-air markets. There's no vendors. There's no street. People on the street busking. There's just none of that type of activity. Instead, you see people going about their day almost militantly. They've got places to go. They go there, and they stop occasionally to talk to each other. But for the most part, it seems like you've got someplace to be. You've got someplace to be. That being said, as you walk past certain places, there seem to be recreational places like these restaurants and coffee houses and things that seem to be the place to gather and do the sorts of things that they want to do to relax and communicate and stuff. And there's other places where there's an entire forge, not warehouse, but a large room, almost like the size of a retail location, but it's all people forging and all working almost in sync, just working on forging these practice pieces. And you'll see the same for leather workers. And as you're walking through, it seems like it's almost like people are assigned. They choose a vocation and they kind of focus on that until they become very good at it. As you guys stop while they talk to a passerby for a few minutes, and I'll get to that in a second, you watch one of these classes. It is looks like a woodworking class. Some of the children, there's all ages in here, and it looks like they're at varying degrees of skill level. And you notice that the drow are very into punishment and physical punishment, using a ruler or a small baton, across the hands or across the legs to make a point. Definitely different than what you are used to as from your world. People like that would usually be outcast, as opposed to here, it seems like it's the norm.
Bonnie is doing her very, very best to keep her features as neutral as possible.
Arthur was watching and picking up visual cues from the other slaves or servants and trying to reenact them towards Bonnie.
So Tweel will be talking with a passing by a woman, high priestess, and he kind of bows. She raises a hand and almost hits him and says, "How dare you speak to me?" And he just bows very deeply. Doesn't stand up, just stays bowed on one knee, and says, "This Reed, this lost drow, has come and returned to us and is needing shelter. I'd hoped that you would help her." She stops and she kind of looks over at you, and she is adorned in this beautiful dress. And on top of that, over that is an open sort of priestly robes, just very light and elegant priestly robes in a kind of this dark color. And she's wearing a pendant, and this pendant has these beautiful obsidian sort of core to it, seemingly coming out from there. Almost looks like it's attached to her dress, where it's kind of open in the chest. Are these 8 just strands that kind of connect to the dress itself. She walks over. "What family do you hail from?"
She bows slightly and, High Priestess, I do not have a family name that I know of any longer. I found writings from my mother's journal that spoke of this place, and I did my best to find my way back, but she is no longer with us.
And she turns and looks at the rest and looks back to you and says, "And these mongrels brought them with you?"
My servants. The journey was treacherous, and I was worried I would not be able to make it alone. They've been well trained and serve faithfully.
Even on the surface world, your instincts were so strong that you found and maintained servants. That's good.
She's creepy.
Your name was Reed.
Yes.
Come with me. And she turns and she starts walking back up the street. She doesn't say much else. It seems like she's in one of those, much like the other people in the street, just we have a place to be, it's time to get there. And then she walks up these beautiful ramps on either side of the city that take you up to the second tier. And then she walks up some elegant steps with this beautiful kind of spider web banding on the wrought iron railing up to the third tier. And in the third tier, she takes you to one of the very, very beautiful houses up there. There's probably maybe 50 houses up here that kind of encircle this tier, and in the center of it is this beautiful spire, the temple. She walks over to one of the houses there and opens the door and walks in.
Reed will follow. Assuming that was what she was supposed to do, hopefully.
Yep. No, you did fine.
At the door, before we go in, Val's gonna stop and in common, because she's worked with probably several COs that were not the best, nicest people. "Mistress, should we follow you or wait out here?"
Oh, what was that horrendous noise?
My apologies, High Priestess. My servant was asking if they should wait out here so as not to sully the beauty of this home.
I would much rather have them sullying my home than to think association outside of my home to others.
Adelaide says in Gnomish quietly to Merrick, "Oh, this is going to be fun." Or I don't even think he'd understand.
Nope.
Doesn't matter. She's having fun saying something she probably wouldn't understand.
So you guys head in, and she shuts the door. As you come inside, this house is beautiful and just totally gorgeous. The floors everywhere are like this white marble. It's the only light-colored thing in here, though. They've got a music box over in the corner and just all sorts of these beautiful carvings. It's very light. There's not a lot of stuff. Very big and open spaces. She walks over. She pulls a fabric cloth that's hanging down, and a minute later, a small halfling pops in, looking looking down the floor. Says, "Yes, mistress. Please show these mongrels to the guest quarters. I will be speaking with the Reed for a while." And she says, "Yes, please come with me." And she just turns and starts walking without even looking or really acknowledging any of you.
Bonnie will just turn and nod like, yep.
Quick question. Did the halfling say it in Undercommon or Elvish? Or did
Would have been Elvish. Would have been Elvish.
Do any of us speak Elvish besides Bonnie?
I do.
I'm inclined to follow Arthur's lead then if he knows what the fuck's happening.
Agreed.
I'll motion to you guys, come, sign language, and follow the halfling.
Once you guys are out of the room, the woman turns to Bonnie and says something in that language that you don't understand, Undercommon. But it says, do you understand this language?
My apologies, High Priestess. I do understand, but I do not speak it.
That's quite interesting. Who in your world spoke but did not teach our language?
I have a gift for the arcane and can understand many different languages, if not speak them properly myself.
Interesting. Usually a male trait. But some priestesses are able to cast the arcane.
I can cast divine as well.
You could do both.
I can cast divine spells as well. Very few, but I do have the ability.
That is very unique. Nobody does that here. How were you trained to do both? Just picked up what you could?
Picked up what I could, and it is sometimes customary to go to schools that will teach multiple types of spellcasting.
Interesting. I would like to discover more about your background. And she walks over to a little box that's on the table. It's about maybe a foot long, 6 inches deep. And she opens it. Inside is a syringe and several small vials. And she pulls out the syringe. I'd like to take a little blood and have it tested to see where your lineage lies.
Oh, of course. Mentally going, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
She comes over and draws a little blood out of your arm. Nothing that hurts or anything. She puts it into a vial. She wax seals it. Pulls another little cord, and another one of her servants, a young dwarf, pops out. Take this over to the professor and have him take a look at it. I wish to know her heritage, what family she hails from, see if we can track them down. Yes, mistress, and he runs off.
And now we find out that your father was actually a drow. Dun dun dun.
Shenanigoons, the quest for the doctored blood test.
And she goes ahead and does that. They're going to go ahead and continue making some small talk. She just asks you a little bit about the surface life is like and stuff like that. We'll come back to that in a second. So the rest of you, this halfling continues to talk in Elvish, unless you say something, but says that you get 2 meals a day. While you're here, it's going to be late morning and then late evening. You basically are at beck and call. They start to explain what the different bells mean and things. They take you to a lower section of this house, kind of just a half step down towards the back of the house, and starts to introduce you around. Says that her name is Misery.
Arthur's going to be translating everything she's saying into Common.
As she hears you speak Common, she goes, I speak Common.
Oh, thank God.
Would that be more helpful?
Yes, that would... Well.
Immeasurably.
Oh, good. So yes, so I'm Misery.
Arthur.
I'm Val.
Adelaide.
Nice to meet you.
And Merrick will do a deep sweeping bow. Reach out his hand.
She does not take it.
My name's Merrick. Pleasure's mine.
Does your mistress allow you to do such eccentricities?
She's mildly entertained by them.
And she's not here right now either.
You're very lucky. So she starts walking along, and there's these very small 8x8 rooms that she brings you to, and says, these are the guest quarters. They're a little nicer than ours, but enjoy them. And inside is literally a bed with a sheet only, one pillow, and a little table to put your bag and stuff on, and a chair for sitting and eating.
It's not any worse than the barracks.
He had blankets at the barracks. It's not that cold here, though, which is strange.
Better than a pit in the ground.
So how long have you been with your mistress?
For a while now.
As long as I can remember.
You're lucky.
To have forgotten how long?
To not remember a time before, yes.
Why would that be lucky?
Because then you have nothing to compare it to. You don't know what freedom is like. This is the only life you know, then you can be happy in it. And you can do such eccentricities and make your mistress happy.
Are you not able to make your mistress happy?
Of course not. No, I've never heard of any of us, any slave being able to make their mistresses happy. We aren't here for entertainment, we're here to serve. Very plainly.
It might help that our mistress spent a lot of time on the surface.
Are you all from the surface? I mean, I know originally you probably were, but did you just come from there, or have you been down here long?
Fairly recently came down.
I've done quite a bit of work underground, you might say. Undercover would be more accurate.
You really should be careful with how you speak. Our mistress will not like the way that you speak. Jokes are not for servants.
I wasn't joking, I was trying to provide clarity.
And from the sounds of it, we're not going to be allowed to speak to your mistress, so nothing to fear there.
But you may speak around her. Although she does not seem to understand common, at least she's never let on, but I don't know how long you've really been with your mistress, but we find every day that we learn new things. They trick us and hide things from us to make sure and test us.
I'll watch my mouth then.
I would say that you can rest here until you are needed. There's a small bell in the corner of your room. If it goes off, you should go to the foyer back the way we came.
Logan, to clarify, are there 4 separate rooms, or are we all in this one room?
They are actually facing each other, 2 and 2. The doors, they're like reverse of each other, and the doors are next to each other and across from each other, and there are no doors on them. So you are basically staring at each other through the doorways.
Misery, is that your given name, or is that what you were...
Misery, yeah. Mm-hmm. They liked it. I don't know why.
Seems they enjoy a theme around here.
My mistress was... There's another reason that she came down here. It was to find a book of certain importance to her, and we were wondering if there's any sort of place where books might be kept within the city. That we might be able to find it.
No, I don't know anything about that. Nothing like that is kept here. I don't know much beyond these walls.
Understood. Thank you.
And she heads off. All right, so Bonnie, Reed, you and the woman are having nice small talk, and she says, "Are you hungry?"
Yes, I persist. Thank you.
You may call me Lutana.
Lutana, it's lovely to meet you.
We can either eat here, or I could take you out to meet a few of your fellow drow.
I would love to meet more people. Bonnie thinking that maybe she can get an idea of where this book might be while they're out and about.
I hope you don't mind if my staff put your servants to work while we are out.
I'm sure that would be more than appropriate.
Excellent. Do they have any particular skills besides protecting you?
Adelaide is incredibly skilled at indexing and researching is excellent if you have a personal library that needs attending to. Her skills are fantastic.
She speaks Undercommon?
No, she does not.
She speaks Elvish?
She speaks Elvish.
Oh, excellent. What about the others? Do they have any special skills we might be able to be useful here?
Merrick is exceptional at appraising goods for sale.
Not a lot of call for that here.
He's also skilled with a bow.
We, unlike maybe surface dwellers, do not arm our servants.
I understand. And he's also an interesting entertainer.
We don't look to our servants for entertainment either, but...
No jokes.
All right, we'll find something for him to do. What about the other female?
Val is blessed with the ability to use divine magics. She is incredibly fierce in battle as well, and an accomplished healer, even when not using magics.
Again, no real call for healers. We'll find something for her to do. And the last one? The human male.
The human male, his name is Arthur, and he also speaks Elvish and is excellent at translating, researching, and cataloging items. He's got a history of archaeology as well for interesting and rare finds. I found his skills at identifying things to be quite useful. Interesting.
Again, no real call for that. All such things are handled by more important people.
I understand. The skills of my servants have been varied, partially due to the nature of my journey.
Well, you have to take what you can get. I understand.
This bitch gonna die.
Heather, I don't speak lip reading with hands cupped around your mouth.
She does not have proficiency in that language.
I was mouthing, she's a bitch.
So she comes over and rings the bell. Misery comes back up and says, "Yes, mistress. Please put our guests to work. Put the two humans to work cataloging in the library. I have those papers that need to be organized.
Hey.
Put the half-orc to work out in the stables. Put the halfling to work in the kitchen."
My apologies for interrupting. Do you have a room where I might freshen up momentarily before we leave? It's been a bit of a long journey.
"Let me just show you to your room. It'll be quicker." And she takes you off to a side, off the foyer, and there's just a couple of smaller rooms, maybe 20 by 18, small. Little guest rooms there with all the amenities, their own bathroom, everything. Here, this will be your room for as long as you stay with us.
Which isn't going to be long after the blood test comes back.
Thank you, Lieutenant. That is incredibly gracious of you. If you'll excuse me for just a moment. And Bonnie will secret herself into the restroom to refresh the disguise self. Real fast.
The exception of Merrick, Bonnie has a chance of having a second career as a temp agency. She did a really solid job describing.
Oh, there's this lovely new place that I want to try. The owner is a good friend of mine. She's got a very interesting eye for food.
That sounds fascinating. Or terrifying. I'm not sure.
And she takes you off. Misery comes back down and knocks on the wall next to the four of your doors, and says, "Your mistress wishes you to start work. So please follow me."
Sorry.
All right, should we just leave our stuff here?
Probably, unless you wish to carry it around on top of whatever else you'll be carrying.
Bonnie feels so guilty.
What would we be doing exactly?
I believe that you and Arthur will be in the library cataloging some paperwork. Val is to be in the stables, cleaning the stables out and taking care of the animals. And Merrick will be in the kitchen, probably cleaning dishes and peeling potatoes.
All right, then. We'll be with you in just a moment. And Val's gonna put her stuff away, and I'm gonna leave my weapons behind, but I'm leaving on the armor because I have no idea what the hell kind of animals these people use. So I'm leaving on the armor.
I'm going to hold on to my bag, and she'll put the bow down, but she's going to leave a hand axe in her bag.
Arthur's going to hold on to his backpack as well, and the whip at his side, but he'll put the rest of his weapons down. He'll slide the boomerang inside his backpack, too.
Yeah, Merrick is leaving his weapons, except for a dagger, in his room, but he will take his pack with him.
Hearing that Merrick was going to be peeling potatoes, I got a little worried after the description of the special eye for food. It's why did you think they took Merrick to the kitchen?
Oh no! That would have been really bad.
Peeling potatoes is a much more benign thing for him to be doing. You're peeling the potatoes while inside the pot. You're just doing extra work for the for the kitchen staff. It's the culinary equivalent of digging your own grave. You peel your own potatoes.
Oh my god.
All right, so she'll stop by the kitchen first. Merrick, this is Sorn. He's a human, kind of scraggly brown hair, and he's got an apron all that's just covered in all sorts of gunk. You'll be helping him. You'll do whatever he needs. Good luck. And he turns, and the rest of you start to walk on.
Could you take my pack and put it into my mistress's room? I was carrying some valuables for her, and I didn't...
Sure.
Yep.
She'll grab it. Sorn will look at you and say, welcome to hell.
It's my first visit. I hope it's not long.
Do you know what a flump is?
I have some familiarity. Yep.
And he walks up and picks up a huge bucket and dumps about 40 medium-sized fist-sized flumps all over the table.
Oh, God.
Oh no!
So many Winstances.
We're going to be breaking these down for the mistress. She's going to be doing a fried flump for dinner. She's got some guests coming over.
I'm so sorry.
They have a stink set. You got to make sure you get it all in one, or else it'll be all over you, and you ain't getting that out for days.
The smell. Oh no.
Sorry.
And he'll show you how to kind of start breaking down the flumps. He does it expertly. He's probably done 1,000 of them. And then he says, yeah, you can work way down there, please. All the way. Keep going. All the way.
Is this far enough?
That's far enough. And that's what you're going to spend the day doing. We'll do a little check later to see how well you did. They stop by the room off the foyer real quick to drop off the bag, and then head to the library, which is upstairs. And the library is kind of a misnomer. There's not a lot of books in here. It's mostly paperwork and boxes and just clean, just everything just kind of around, and a lot of different parchments and things. And there are stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of papers, just hundreds of stacks of these parchments and things. And she starts to show you kind of how she wants them and says, the reason why I don't do this is because I don't understand it perfectly, but here are the guidelines. And she hands you a 2-page instructions of how to organize these very mundane papers. Banknotes and receipts and it's equivalent, it's paperwork on top of paperwork to seeming redundancy.
Red tape.
You end up, it's red tape. It is basically a way to make sure that they, in a society just built on contracts, to make sure they have the records they need.
Okay. And it's written in Elvish. I can understand it.
It's almost exclusively in Elvish, or there's at least the monikers that you need are written in Elvish.
Okay.
But there are a couple of bookshelves of books, and there's a few other things. It's just not a big, vast library.
Misery, I just wanted to let you know, I know that you love company, so you're welcome to come visit us anytime.
That's not the first time I've heard that. I'm not going to sleep with you. I have my own duties to attend to. And she leaves.
It's fine. My eye is for another.
So, Val, you head outside, and you guys go towards the back, and it's not just one or two small. You're not on any kind of property here. So as you get to the back of these buildings, you see that off towards the back, behind these buildings, on this kind of a circular part where it attaches to the cave walls. It seems like there's a little bridge area. It's very wide, though. It was huge. It's not like it's more like it's attached specifically to the wall. You see there are these little makeshift open air type stables. And you see these gigantic creatures, these 6-7 foot tall, leathery kind of wrapped beings hanging upside down inside of these nooks. And they take you over there, and they hand you different tools and says, you'll be working with Balak.
All right.
Balak is another half-orc. He will teach you how to take care of the bats and spiders.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And internally, she's like, fuck, I'm glad I left my armor on.
You'll work with Balak on basically cleaning out stables. Most of the bats won't wake up. Says the spiders are the ones you have to watch out for, because you got to clean off some of their webbing and clear back the webbing as it's encroaching beyond their space. They have much larger kind of cubbies. And as he takes you to certain ones, they tend to stay in their little holes. They're not really hungry because they're fed well. But towards the end, the last two, he is very particular to mention that you need to be careful because they're phase spiders and you won't be able to see them.
All right.
But he teaches you kind of what to look for to see when they might be moving close.
All right.
Yikes.
I'll be careful.
Arthur and Adelaide, is there anything in particular you're doing in the library as you guys are left alone for the next few hours?
Looking through the books to see if she can find anything that is pertaining to an elemental grimoire, any sort of like artifact encyclopedia. Gonna try.
You're gonna do research. So, Heather, I'm not worried about you. You're going to do fine out there. No reason. I mean, there's nothing. If you fail, you might get attacked, but he'll help you with that. Merrick, go ahead and give me a dexterity check. Let's see how you do. You could roll it into performance, I guess, or we don't have a cooking one anymore. No crafting.
How much flash do you put into that potato peeling?
How covered in stink are you?
Sleight of hand to not miss the cut.
I think sleight of hand would probably be the most appropriate.
Sleight of hand's perfect, yeah.
That is a 23.
So you were an expert at this. You've got it pretty down pat. So once he sees that you're competent with a few, he'll call you back over so you can work next to him. Makes it easier, and then you guys can chit-chat. And then Arthur and Adelaide. Adelaide, go ahead and give me a investigation check. Now, is Arthur going to work while Adelaide researches, or is Arthur going to help Adelaide?
I'm going to actually do what we were assigned to do, so that some of it's getting done. I'm going to start by doing a section that is done correctly, but I'm also going to have a hidden section that I am, destroying, just confusing everything, moving papers around all over the place to mess up the order. But I want to have something to show that I'm doing the work that I was assigned to is done correctly. Other stacks that we weren't told to, or stuff that was already organized, I am going to change that up.
Got it. All right.
I got a 12.
So initially, for the first few hours, you don't find anything.
Hello, Shenanigoons, my lovely Goonies. It is I, Tessa, your RPG mom, coming to you to talk a little bit about our sponsor for this episode and give you an update on what's happening here over at Nerdsmith. We've got some exciting news. We've introduced a new show, Champions of the Earth. They are a phenomenal podcast, a combination of actual play and audio drama that is action-packed and out of this world. If you like shows like Power Rangers or Voltron, you will really enjoy this show. The cast is phenomenal. The story is incredible. I cannot recommend it enough. In addition to that, our sponsor this week is Blue Apron, an amazing service. If you are, like us, are very, very busy and just don't have time to cook but still want to eat nutritionally balanced, healthy, and delicious meals, Blue Apron is by far one of the best things that you can treat yourself to. Treat yourself. I mean it. Using fresh ingredients and chef recipes, your ingredients are all prepared and delivered and portioned right to your door, ready to cook. Logan, our child, Kendall, and I have enjoyed Blue Apron a few times now. We're looking forward to more. It is amazing, and it's become a very fun family activity for the three of us to make together. If you are interested in getting Blue Apron, go to nerdsmith.org/Blue Apron. You can use that code for $50 off your first 2 boxes. It is a great deal. All of the meals come to about, depending on how many you do, between $7 and $10 a portion, which is cheaper than going out to eat at Denny's. It is also way, way tastier. A huge thank you again to the Nerdsmith Network. We really enjoy being a part of it. Next Friday, we will be at Rose City Comic Con doing a panel on diversity and inclusivity in tabletop gaming. Come listen. All of us will be telling our stories as well as talking about how you can make your play table a space that is welcoming to all. Finally, before we get back into the action, we wanted to say thank you for all of the tweets we've gotten. Thank you to everybody who has sent in Birchfield Lost and Found items or character names. They are phenomenal. Please keep them coming. You can tweet them to us at the Shenanigoons on Twitter or use the hashtag Shenanigoons as well for those magic items. And we really, really appreciate you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
All right, so Bonnie, you are taken along with Lutana, and you guys head off not very far, just down to the second tier. And she takes you to a very beautiful restaurant. There's candlelight at every one of the tables. There's only 2 or 3 tables in here that are taken up. And she walks in, and they greet her in undercommon, saying, "Oh, Lutana, it's so good to see you." She just kind of lifts her head up a little bit and enjoys the accolades a little. And then goes and sits down and invites you to sit with her.
The accolades. That's Adelaide's cousin.
A few minutes later, 2 other women come in who are introduced to you as Nendra, Jazira. They are also have this almost the exact same outfit and robes and little things. They look nearly identical. So you're going to guess they're high priests as well.
Bonnie will bow her head to both of them when they're introduced.
They look at you a little confused and then kind of nod a little bit after it's explained. Nendra will lean over and say, "Women don't often bow their head to other women here. You are not inferior to us. Not like the men or our servants."
She will nod and smile.
The first thing they do is they bring over these little just thin crisps, fried up, breaded, kind of crispy things. You would guess it's almost like some sort of cod or fish, maybe mussel. I don't know if you're going to ask or you're just going to eat and enjoy. And it's got kind of this umami kind of almost like paste that you kind of dip it in.
After a few minutes, this is delicious. It's not something I'm familiar with. Is this a type of fish that is here?
They kind of giggle a little bit and they look at you and says, "No, this is. You probably don't have them on the surface. We call them mimics."
You're having her eat Chester?
Not Chester. Chester's an adorable mimic. Is that okay?
That's okay. It's
good.
Quite tasty. I'm always one for a new adventurous experience. Logan, can I make a nature check to see if I know what a mimic is?
Sure. Yeah, give me a nature check.
That's a 7. I have no idea.
You're not really familiar. And then they bring out another meal. This one is similar. These have these long fillet strips of raw meat. It's actually like they look like almost like a kind of a tuna, but it's very, very thin sliced sashimi type of look. And it's got this kind of clear oil to kind of dip a little bit in as they do and eat it.
She will follow suit and probably ask, and I hope I'm not being rude by wondering. They're not flavors I've experienced before.
So this kind of has the texture of kind of a dark meat chicken, almost like a cooked dark meat chicken, even though it's raw and cold. Mm-hmm. And its flavor is fairly mild, almost like a very salmon-y kind of flavor. And no, it's not at all. It's this is a creature called a grick. And then the final course they bring you before dessert is almost like a pasta. It's just all these little strings.
Almost. It's very keen wording. Almost like pasta.
Make me an intelligence check.
18.
It's almost tossed as kind of like a little cream sauce. And with the white kind of cream on them, you recognize them. They are cave fisher filament. Looks like it's been cut up and cooked, kind of fried up, and the stickiness obviously has been removed.
Hopefully these ones weren't someone's pets.
The sauce it's tossed in the sauce. So. And it's kind of a creamy pasta-like flavor, but with kind of a light, a turkey kind of kick behind the light creamy sauce.
This is very interesting.
So you guys have the meal, and they just talk to you about society and what Drow society is like, and they just talk amongst themselves and do a little kibitzing here and there, a little gossip. So about an hour later, I assume you're going to need to excuse yourself to the restroom.
Yes.
Okay, and they say, "Oh, well, when you get back, we'll go ahead and head back. It was very nice seeing you ladies." And they say goodbye to you, and they leave, and you head off to the restroom.
Awesome. I am going to refresh my disguised self and then also cast Locate Object.
All right, so you cast Locate Object on the Elemental Grimoire, which is a named item, so that's fine. You've seen pictures of it. You come out, so you're going to be a little bit distracted as you're kind of focusing and concentrating while you're walking, but not enough that you can't hold a conversation. As soon as you get outside, you feel a ping basically above you, obviously on the third tier up where they are. And as you get up there, you realize that the Elemental Grimoire is in the center of the temple that is at the center, or is in the temple that is at the center of the third tier. Are you looking over that direction?
Well, she's been taking in kind of like the city because she's never been there, but she'll look over and go, "That is a gorgeous building over there. Is that a temple, I'm assuming?"
That is the temple to Loth. That is our matron. That is our god. Would you like to see?
I would love to see.
So she'll take you over and inside the temple. It is every bit as overly pretentious as the rest of the city. You take the hubris of a church that's gone too far, and top of a hubris-laden people, and you get this mega church. It is like medieval Catholicism, with the gold everywhere. Only here, it's platinum. They've got platinum filigree on everything. All of the ritual components are platinum. Spider webs of platinum just kind of draping over every wall. Huge areas for worship, small private areas for gatherings. People are using all bits of it. And very tall dais, like we're talking 10 feet tall, so you look down at the people as you're preaching to them. She'll take you around and start showing you the intricacies of some of the back areas, and as they're doing that, you are kind of honing in and have pretty much sure you've discovered which room the grimoire is in. Are you going to push to try to go into that room? Because it doesn't look like she's going to take.
Bonnie's going to make a mental note of the room, but is she like purposely skipping that room, or like
she's skipping a lot of rooms? It's just this happens to be one of them.
Okay, if she's skipping a lot of rooms, then Bonnie's not going to push because she doesn't want to be too obvious. But she is absolutely making a note of which room that is.
There are 8 entrances to this building, being a very important number to them. This room, as you're kind of walking around, is fairly close to one of the entrances down kind of a hallway towards the center area. As she takes you into the centered area, however, that's when things start to get a little bit worrisome. The entire center of this massive building is hollow all the way up. And about 50 or 60 feet above you, starts a funnel of web, of actual thick, very thick web. And somewhere deep past in that funnel, you see this sort of kind of bulbous protrusion of probably the biggest spider you've ever seen in your life. It is probably gargantuan.
Nope.
It is big enough to come down and fill this entire room easily, but it's kind of huddled up in there, and it just seems to have this kind of slow, kind of rhythmic breathing. Very, very slow. And she just smiles and she says, "It's beautiful, isn't it?"
Breathtaking.
The avatar of our matron. She's chosen here to rest.
That is quite an honor.
The highest. She only allows 1, maybe 2 of her avatars in our realm at one time. I'm surprised more don't flock here because of it. She's never moved other than sleeping, but just her being here is enough. We've been blessed with several Drider births as well. You don't know what Drider births are, do you? I'm sorry.
No, but it sounded good. It sounded like it was important.
They are blessed births. A hybrid between us and Loth, the next step of our evolution, you might say. It's breathtaking. Maybe I'll introduce you to one. They're very busy, but we'll see.
Thank you. I can imagine.
Shall we get back and see how your servants are doing?
She'll chuckle. Yes. Hopefully they're making me proud.
Proud is such a interesting word.
Well pleased then, for lack of a better term.
Never found a servant to be able to please me, but all right. And the two of you head back over the large courtyard and head back to her house. She heads inside, and Misri is actually waiting there and walks up to, or greets her mistress first, then walks over to you and says, Mistress Reed, one of your servants asked me to put a bag in your room. I wasn't sure if you actually wanted that, but I did not know how to proceed.
Oh, no, absolutely. Thank you very much.
I placed it in there, and Misri kind of looks at that exchange, and you allow your servants a lot of freedom.
I suppose it comes from being raised not in proper society. Thank you for showing me the correct way.
Would you like me to get you some items for correction?
None of you can see it, but all of the eyes across the board, except for Logan's, just got big.
Two of us have whips if she needs one.
Will Merrick have to start calling Bonnie Daddy?
No!
Arthur uses self-discipline.
Mistress will do. Thank you very much. Not at this time. I'm not entirely sure exactly which implements I would prefer to use, but thank you.
So if you'd like to go get freshened up, I will. I have some matters to go to attend to. So if feel free to ask Misri if you need anything. Hers is the blue silk. Your servants are the green silk there. They will come if you ring the bell, if they are in their rooms. If not, Misri can attend to them. Her silk will find her wherever she is. And you are welcome to stay here or in your room, and Misri can show you other places in the house. Or if you need to go out, I suggest that you take Misri with you. It is nice to have the opportunity to bring you back into the fold.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity. Bonnie will head to her room in a slight panic to try and breathe after that experience. But at least she knows where the grimoire is now to get everybody out of the situation she's put them in to go get it.
Question, Logan, while we were sitting around waiting for Misri in our room, was that an hour or was that a lot less than that? I'm asking about a short rest.
It was not quite an hour, but while you're doing this other like paperwork and stuff, I don't mind you guys having a short rest during that time. Maybe yeah, Merrick, yeah, you're kind of relaxed. I mean, you're just sitting down. Val, you're not going to get a short rest. You're raking and mucking.
I'm at full hit points.
Merrick does have a fast hands ability, so his sleight of hand checks are done at bonus actions instead of, or can be done as a bonus action. So technically, if it makes sense from a story standpoint, he could get through these flumps pretty quick.
Or at least a medium pace.
Flump disarmament at a fast pace. That's a dodgy proposition there.
Once you're done with the flumps, you have all the vegetables, you have the mushrooms, you've got, there's a lot of other things coming, but the flumps was just the interesting one. Arthur, you had an idea as well.
Yes. I would have been looking for very high cost items in the receipts and information on where they may have been kept. With my archaeology background, I can determine the monetary value of objects that are more than a century old.
Arthur should have been the fence. Archaeologist is just a sanctioned fence.
Yeah, for old shit.
Adelaide's just like, I'm not finding anything. Ugh.
Chances are the grimoire's not going to be kept here anyway.
I mean, like any trace of any sort of history, I mean, it's all just sort of like how to punish your slaves, slave punishing for dummies, just...
Spider husbandry.
So you're looking through and you do find something that it appears was gifted to Lutana. However, the gift that was given in return was a gift from the temple, and it was 37 slaves, which you're going to guess is probably fairly significant. You haven't seen anything, you've never seen any other paperwork trading slaves before. But you kind of put two and two together. This item,
Lutana gave 37 slaves in return for this item that she received?
she was gifted this item, and in exchange, she gifted this dignitary 37 slaves.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they were gifts, but yeah, you're pretty much seeing that maybe in this particular instance, she wasn't allowed to do things a certain way, and it was a gift to the temple, but it appears that it's in her personal records, and the paperwork seems to indicate that it is here in the house. It's called the Iron Flask of Mont Blanc.
Okay. Does it say what room?
No, it doesn't say what room it's in, but it says that it is in the personal collection of Lutana and has her last name. Hold on, Lutana Hlond, Hlaund, Hlond.
Okay. Is there a description?
It is yes. There's actually the sketch and everything. There's all sorts of paperwork on it. It is just basically it's a small flask, about the size of a normal drinking flask, but it's instead of being curved on one side, that's a newer invention. It was kind of bulbous on both sides, but it doesn't say anything more about the details of it. But it seems to be a very important, maybe historical artifact, or something like that.
I'll make a note and I'll file that one where it belongs. Again, all of the stuff that the papers I was supposed to sort are being done correctly.
Would Adelaide have had any time after failing to find any books of note to go back and start working on the paperwork?
Yeah, you'll help out a little bit. Bonnie, what are you doing?
After a little bit, after I'm sure that Lutana is off doing her own thing, she's going to wring the green silk and hopefully try and get one of her friends to her room. So
they are not in their room, so they are not coming.
In which case, then she'll ring the blue.
Misery comes out and says, "Oh, yes, mistress, what can I help you with?"
Misery, might you fetch Merrick for me? He was the one who put the pack in my room. I had a question for him about one of the items I had given him.
Would you like me to take you to him? He is very dirty right now, or I could have him bathed before he comes and meets with you.
That would be fine, thank you.
Do it!
Just a little, though.
Maybe a little bit.
Misery comes into the kitchen and says, Marek, your mistress wishes to see you. Please go to your room and bathe first. There's a sink and a shower down the hall. I can lay out clothing if you don't have a change.
I wouldn't mind a change of clothing. That'd be fine. But which door down the hall? I just didn't want to walk into someone's room unannounced.
It's the one at the end of the hall. There are no other guests, and she'll go and lay out some clothes for you.
And when everybody dressing in goth, these are going to be perfect for Merrick to wear. He's going to love them. This is a new shade of black. I like it.
It's like an all black suit with the satin black embossing on it in a pattern and all that craziness. Black on black on black.
It's a flump of black.
Good job. I was about to make that.
Flump of black.
So you go and get cleaned up. They'll take your clothes while you're in the shower and get them cleaning. And you get dried off. You head over to your room, and inside of your room are a pair of leather boots and a pair of black pants and a belt.
No shirt?
Nope.
All right.
Oh, no! Weirdly, I saw a lot of that outfit in a bunch of the books that I was going through in the bookshop.
I can't tell if they think that I want him for sexy times or to, punish him. Or por qué no los dos?
Merrick will don the attire provided to him.
Awesome.
They are full pants, right?
They're ripaways.
You did see quite a few of the male servants shirtless outside, so it's not necessarily unheard of. All right, so you as you leave your room, Misery is sitting there. Please follow me.
Understood.
And she heads upstairs to the foyer and knocks on the door to Reed's room. And she'll open the door and just motion for Merrick to go in.
Enter. Thank you, Misery.
And then she'll shut the door. Actually, did you just say thank you, Misery?
I did.
She'll stop and kind of look down, but towards your direction and say, I know that you're new to this, mistress, but it's not appropriate to thank your servants. And then she'll shut the door and turn and leave.
The door shut, Bonnie's face just looks so sad. And she'll wait a few seconds to hear her footsteps have gone away.
She is very quiet, so, but yeah, okay. I don't mind you waiting, but yeah.
She just kind of mouths, I am so sorry.
Had a nice conversation with a gentleman cook and got a new half of an upgrade for my wardrobe, and I got a bath. I'm doing fine.
What languages, aside from Common, does Merrick speak?
Halfling.
Okay, so she'll say in Halfling, I found it.
Misery was a halfling.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Just learn to talk in code.
Talk quietly.
Aye, Ound Faye.
Oh, actually, I have a better idea. Bonnie picks up one of her journals and starts writing in it, in Halfling, and just hands it over to Merrick.
Okay.
And while verbally we'll say something, about this item that she's making up being missing from her bag and very concerned about its location. From the bag you gave her. Just kind of like trying to be sneaky just in case.
Apologies, mistress. I did not mean to misplace that item that you were speaking of just now. I am most apologetic, and 1,000 humble apologies as I prostrate myself before you.
And then you have to... No, sorry.
He's writing it. Yeah, he's writing in the notebook, and hands back. It's like, okay, where is it?
I don't understand how you could lose such a thing. I give you a simple task, and in writing it's in the center temple on the 3rd tier in a corner room. I have the room. Complication. Giant spider avatar of God? ? And hands the notebook back.
I'm very sorry, mistress. It won't Nope. He reads the line about the giant spider. And just...
She takes the book back like fucking huge, dude.
How was the security?
Logan, I was trying to look for security. I didn't see any, security, right?
Nope, not really.
Didn't see any security. People milling about and worshipping. I wasn't able to get into the room. I just know what room it's in.
Understood.
So I don't know if there's extra security in that room.
Well, I won't have a lot of difficulty sneaking in and out, but handling people that I meet there might be a bit of a problem.
Why don't you have a shirt? ?
I was not provided one.
Okay.
I'm here to find a book, not create new fashion trends.
I'm sorry for getting us all separated. Just trying to get as much information as I can, and didn't want to try and fight an entire Drow city by ourselves.
Things have gone swimmingly so far, there's no apologies necessary.
I'll try and keep it that way. They seem very keen on discipline.
Well, I think as long as we seem useful, then... Wait, what do you mean by discipline?
They asked if I wanted discipline implements to use on you guys. I declined.
Not my first time experiencing those things, but I'd rather prefer not to. Thank you.
Can you tell the others?
I will do what I can. Of course, wait, can't you just pull the green silk and we all have to meet in the foyer?
Only if you're all in your rooms.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Our rooms are right next to each other. I haven't spent much time in them. Sorry.
So if you're all in your rooms, I can pull it and summon you all at once, and maybe we can try and figure out a way.
Well, she's inviting people over for dinner tonight. Some hullabaloo. I had to carve through countless flumps.
It's flum.
Countless of them. There were so many. I don't think I ever want to see another tentacle ever again.
I had some cavefish or filament for lunch.
Oh, how was that?
Actually kind of tasty and strange.
Have to give it a try.
Along with Mimic and Grick, they have very interesting cuisine. It feels really weird to have gone to lunch while you've been working. So, just wanted to try and get you guys caught up. Maybe we can try to plan tonight after everybody's gone to bed and guests have left? ?
Was there anything else I could do for you, mistress? I apologize for losing said item from my bag that was in your possession.
I just hope that you're being more competent with our gracious host's chores that are, tasks that need doing.
I thank you for your mercy, and I abase myself before you, and I will take my leave.
Bonnie's trying so hard not to laugh when he does that.
And as he turns to leave, you see his back. It's the first time he's been seen without a shirt. Covering his back is a gigantic tattoo of a lotus flower that has been completely branded, like actual skin brands, with spider webs. And he leaves.
Merrick, you will be taken back to the kitchen, by the way. So do you just let the rest of them work?
If Bonnie can think of good reasons to summon them to her and fill them in that aren't, like, ridiculous.
The more and more that you're sitting here and thinking about it, so you take some time, you're like, okay, I have to think of these good reasons. You start to come to the realization that you're in charge. You don't need a reason. You don't need to explain anything to anyone. You've never seen any of them explain anything to anyone. If you need to talk to someone, you just do. And by the way, Merrick, when you left, nobody was inside. Doesn't necessarily mean that somebody wasn't listening, but you can't see anybody. So if you want to summon even all of them at the same time, so this is coming to you kind of after an hour of worrying or so. If you just want to call them in, no one's going to stop you or question you. They're your servants.
Upon that realization, she will summon everyone.
So as you head back out into the main room, Lutana comes back home, and she opens the door and says, "Oh, hello. Did I interrupt something?"
Oh, hello. Oh, no, I was just going to call some of my people here to just ask.
Please, and let me know. Misery knows where I keep my instruments if you need anything.
Excellent, I'll keep that in mind.
I have some work to go do. She summons Misery, and Misery, we're going to have a new servant coming. Very, very fresh. She'll need quite a lot of care. Misery says, "When shall I expect them?" About an hour. Bonnie, she turns to you and says, "We're going to have several guests this evening. You are welcome to join us. I would suggest allowing me to have a new dress brought for you, if you do want to join us. You're welcome to stay in that. I just think you'd be more comfortable if you blended in a little better."
Of course, whatever you think is best.
Excellent. I'll have that made and brought over to you. And she heads upstairs.
Have we been summoned?
Not yet.
Bonnie's almost worried that maybe she shouldn't after that. Is my room near hers, or is it off in a different area?
No, she's way up. So you're in a different wing.
Okay. If I'm in a different area, then I don't feel bad about it. And then she'll go ahead and summon.
Okay, so you call Misery. Misery comes out. You say you want to talk to everyone. Yes?
Yes.
All right. She says it'll be a moment. They may come one at a time, or would you like them all to come together?
Preferably all at once, but if not, then she does not say thank you this time.
And did you need them to be cleaned? They all will be very messy.
This is more urgent. It's fine.
All right. So that took about 30 minutes to get everyone together, though.
Val knocks on the door.
Enter.
Val will open the door to her and let people walk in ahead of her, and then close it very securely behind her.
I've got like 7 paper cuts.
Adelaide's picking at ink between her nails and like paper cuts she hasn't had to deal with in a while. Just like,
nothing has been quite this painful.
I stopped school so I wouldn't have to sit at a desk for hours going through papers.
As Val closes the door behind her, she's like, shh.
None of you know what I've been through today.
No, we should be really quiet because we don't know who's listening.
That Bonnie hands each of you a piece of paper. Like, she'd taken some time to prepare.
If that's put in front of Adelaide's face, Adelaide's gonna be like...
Arthur will write what has been happening. Brief rundown? ? Anything we should know about?
Bonnie will explain via paper and really just kind of over it be giving kind of like a little instructional, like, this is what I need you to be doing, la 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 la, while passing that around and getting information to everyone.
Arthur will just hold up his hands like 1 minute, and he's going to step away from you guys, and he's going to take out his whip, and he's going to just start whipping and screaming in pain. "I'm sorry, mistress, I'm sorry," and just like kind of whipping the air. And and yelling kind of loud, so that maybe some others will hear.
Oh no!
And then come back to you.
Bonnie looks so horrified. She's like, oh my god.
And I'll write on the paper, that should cover a few tracks.
Adelaide looks horrified.
Merrick's just got the not bad look on his
All right,
face.
so you guys put on the show. Now let's go ahead and have the real conversation.
Adelaide writes, "This is so fucking weird."
Arthur will write down the specifically and kind of point at Merrick, the iron flask of Montblanc, and what was traded for it
Lots of dollar signs.
as high importance, great value, and a description.
I'll see what I can do.
Val relays information about the gigantic bats and riding spiders that she's been cleaning up after all day.
They have something called a drider, like a elf spider hybrid, a couple births apparently. They're like revered. And I overheard them saying that there's going to be a new slave in about an hour that needs to be well attended to and broken in. I want to make sure that I've dismissed you guys before then, so we should probably wrap this up pretty quick.
How have things been going with the ruse, with your identity?
So far, so good. Apparently I need to be less polite. And I'm really sorry.
That's not being less polite.
It's all right. You kind of covered your bases with the politeness by saying you were raised up on the surface, so they don't expect you to know everything perfectly. That'll help.
I'm just worried about how you guys are being treated.
You just whipped the shit out of me, so it's fine. I'm treated like I should be.
I've mucked out stalls before. It's not that bad. Although usually it's not with spiders I can't see that might attack me. Those ones were a little hairy. Literally.
How could you tell?
I felt it. They almost got me. The other guy, Balak, luckily knows what he's doing.
Oh, and I will say that because Arthur obviously doesn't have any whip marks on him, maybe the story is that Val healed him up
So that he could keep working. Works for me.
so he wouldn't bleed all over the floors.
Them in sorts while still... Oh, this is so weird. I don't like this. I'm less worried about us. We have our role. We're here. We're slaves. That's fine. If they find out about you, you're in shit, Bonnie.
Yeah, I have enough to do a little longer. You notice that she's always had it on, but when it's just you guys in the room, she's relaxing a little bit. But the second you guys look like she's gonna leave, she's doing her best. She's doing okay. I'm getting a little tired, but I can go for a little bit longer.
Is there a game plan for this evening for acquiring the book?
Oh, I'm thinking about summoning you guys after everybody's gone to bed with the thingies, and then trying to get out and get it and go.
Okay.
She's gonna have a big dinner party. Maybe they'll get a little tipsy or something. It'll be easier. I've been invited to it, so I'm gonna be careful and there for information's sake.
So they're treating you as just sort of in their cast.
Yeah. Be careful. Be safe.
Yeah, definitely.
Goes double for you, Bonnie.
I can promise neither.
Yes, mistress.
And she'll dismiss them and gather up all the papers that have been used to convey information and go into the restroom and quickly prestidigitate them to poof, gone.
As you, as the four of you leave the room and she's gathering up the papers, the door is being closed. Misery had just answered it, and in walks two drow males that you don't recognize, along with a dwarf who has been beaten and bruised. His entire right side of his face is swollen and shut, and he's got one hand shackled kind of behind his back to this belt that goes around his waist. His right hand seems to have been not crippled, but it looks like it's just been hurt badly. And he's kind of limping a little bit as he comes in. And he's got this kind of long, dark hair, a scruffy kind of beard, and he's wearing just kind of peasantry clothes. And next to him is a water genasi who doesn't look hurt, is wearing similar clothing, but is not bound at all. The dwarf turns and goes, "Adelaide?"
Hey, Jesse, what is Champions of the Earth?
Why Champions of the Earth is a live play radio drama hybrid about Power Ranger, Voltron, crazy action.
Does it have teen romance?
It has teen romance.
Hey guys.
And hey, hang on a sec. And what else does it have? Is there cool abilities?
There's cool abilities. There's an original game system that we're playing together and beta testing.
Hey guys, I mean, this is kind of important. Can you...
Okay, Colin, just a second. We're trying to tell people about Champions of the Earth.
It sounds really cool.
There's so it's a cool mix of high school drama, superpowers, and there's mech combat.
Yeah, but right now, there are monsters coming over the horizon. What are we gonna do, guys? We gotta get out of here. Artsy, save us!
Hang on, I got this.
Champions of the Earth! Find us wherever podcasts are downloaded. Check us out at championscast.com and
go have yourselves an adventure.